uh, the big guy in Boston and my favorite player on the Celtics right now. Another guy who I think should be talked about in this young core of Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. I think he will be your starting five long term. Robert Williams. Last night, 9 for 9. You texted me before this. He was the fourth player ever. Can you say the
Yeah,
fun fact?
he was the fun fact. Nikola Jokic, Wilt a couple times because any great NBA all-time stat has to have Wilt in it, and Draymond Green are the only players in NBA history to have a 20-point, 8 assists, 100% field goal game, and that's the mark of a brilliant playmaking center. So I did a Garden report last night after the game, and I was trying to rattle off the best passing big men in the league right now. Obviously, you think of Giannis, Jokic at the top of that list. Bam Adebayo's up there. You probably have to include Joel Embiid. He's gotten much better in recent
I'd include
years.
Cat as well.
Towns, yep. Vucevic, of course. So, this kind of like 5-7 guys up there at the top. But Rob's up there with them already. And you could maybe even argue that he is top 5 off what we've seen, just off the difficulty of the playmaking, the position that he's in. The fact that like no one really has to guard him as a guy who can beat them off the dribble or shoot, of course. I know he can, pull up and hit like a 15-footer, but he's not going to shoot any threes. And so for him to still be able to make decisions quick enough at the top of the arc, because, if he stands there for too long, they're just gonna like get off him and find everybody else. But he's able to make a decision in a split second to find guys. And in that fourth quarter, whether it was off handoffs, whether it was off him falling on the baseline, trying to get control of the ball and just seeing a guy like across the court to find for three, which he does all the time, or just like, catching the ball in the post and funneling it to someone real quick. There's about 4 or 5 ways that he can pass and completely rip apart a defense. And Houston, as you know, like is not a bad defense. And he was just shredding them to pieces in that fourth quarter. And you're just like, what's going on? Like, is this Jokic? Like
Yeah, he carved us up, but I do want to call you out on something. Did you just say you think he's a top 5 passing big?
he might be.
I don't think so. With the guys you named, with like Vucevic,
So what's your
Jokic,
list? Yeah, I'm gonna pull
Cat,
up some clips here and you get your list going.
I'll say Jokic number 1 for sure. After that, it's tough to say, but there's definitely like Embiid, there's Cat, there's Giannis, there's Bam, there's Vucevic. I would put Sabonis in that
Oh,
conversation.
Sabonis is up there too. Yeah.
Um, who else am I missing? Am I missing somebody else? Is there AD can be in that conversation?
Davis is up there. Yeah.
Um, I would put Rob Williams in that second tier of big man passing with the Mason Plumlees and Kelly Olynyk's. Of like they can make the right pass.
Let's show him a little bit of respect. Come on.
They're in that second. Like Kelly was a great pass. I mean, he was getting players off the cut.
Could Kelly get 8 assists in a game?
Well, this was Rob's first time doing it. I mean, how often is Rob going to put up 8 assists? That's the thing. Like, can he be in that upper tier of passers? Yes. Is he there yet? I don't really think so. But the thing that he's impressed me the most about is this man can stuff the stat sheet in all 5 stats. Whether, like he's had multiple games with 5+ blocks. He's had a game with 5+ steals. Coming from the center position at 20 years old, that is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, and this was one of the first plays of the game here. The skip pass, which is like you see here, he's not going to shoot this 3. He's not going to take this guy off the dribble. But, who's that, Tate in the lane there?
He's very quick with his passes. I noticed that on first watch as well. Like there was a play in transition, like he catches the ball near half court and it just like a skip pass, like touch pass over to Kemba. It was very quick, very smart. I love how quick he is with the ball.
And, he's able to carve out space in the lane too. Obviously, he's a great roller. And what he's getting better at too is being able to handle the ball off the catch, possess it, and finish. Obviously, he had great space here. Pritchard's done such a good job too this year getting him the ball. We talk about Boston's drafts. Pritchard was just an outstanding pick at 26. Yeah, awesome passer, great shooter. Probably one of the underrated guys in this class so far. And he just, carves that nice space here in the lane for Rob. And Rob just continues. We think about this being his first season where he's really played. First year was pretty much a redshirt year. Second year, and you talk about stuff in the stat sheet, offensive rebounding in this game, getting the
Man, what
ball
a
out.
fact too. That's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and Tristan Thompson started the year. He'd get a ton of offensive rebounds, but he'd always go up with it. The refreshing thing about Rob, he kicks it right out to an open shooter.
Yeah, I mean, I really like Rob's game. I'm a big fan of him. My thing is like the separator between him and those upper tier of passers is those guys like
Oh, there's
I feel
Brown.
like Rob makes the right play at the right time. Whereas these guys like Jokic, Vucevic, Sabonis, they can find the right play at the right time. They can create the right play at the right time themselves. They can basically create the shots for their teammates. That's the next step for Rob is can he become that force offensively that when he has the ball in his hands, the defense has to look at him in order to get his teammates open. I think, maybe there's a day that he can get there. I think there's a chance he can get there, but whether he does or he doesn't, I know like for a fact he's part of that young core with Brown and Tatum at this point.
And this is probably the first time I've ever seen him take a guy off the dribble. And so he adds this stuff so quickly. This is really his first year playing. Last year,
Yeah.
he got his first playing time in the playoffs, like real playing time, part of the rotation, made a big impact right away. We obviously know his analytics are just insane. When he's on the court, Celtics are like dozens and dozens advantage per 100. I think it was at 50 at one point this year when he played 20 minutes or more. So like, but you're right. He just touches every area of the game right now. And so can he add a shot? Does he need a shot? Probably not, because he's just so efficient inside. He dunks everything, but it will always help to add that. Can he do stuff off the dribble? Can he add a post move or two? You're right in the sense that he needs to do some things that set himself up to be a threat, because right now all he really is as an offensive player is just a lob guy. So if he's standing in the half court and he's not rolling, or if Tatum's going ISO city, there's nothing he can do. So like, again, though, we talk about this being such a horrible year for this team, but a guy like Rob has made such strides that you think of him being part of the core going forward, which was not even imagined coming into this year. So I'm thrilled with that. Since March 1st, he's averaging 10.7 points, 8.8 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3.7 blocks a game. Unreal.
That's ridiculous.